What's happening out there, squad and crew? It is time for another Ghost and Clover podcast, powered by our good friends over at European American Armory, and we'll talk about them more here a little bit later after probably our first segment. Until then, welcome to everybody out there that is joining us live. And also those that are in replay. Remember that if you are in replay, there's probably comments down below, so jump down there and continue the conversation. Respectively, of course, Ghost and I are proud members of the Self-Defense Radio Network as well as the Firearms Radio Network. And for those that are out there in the live chat, especially the ones early, right now, you may want to hang around because a little later in the show, you will get the opportunity to pick our third and final topic of the evening. Until then, we have no clue what the topics are. That's just the way that this show works. Let's get Ghost in here and get things rolling here shortly. What's up, man?
What's going on? Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Hope everything was great for you today.
Absolutely. All rain here, man, like crazy rain. As a matter of fact, the lights have flickered multiple times. I thought, man, I don't have to cancel another one of these.
It's beautiful here in north central Arkansas. So,
it's been nothing but rain here for what seems like forever now. So, but we'll be complaining about that in a month or two. Having no rain at all, so feast or famine. You can't win with the weather either way.
Yeah, it's one of those where I wish we could save up rainy days from April and May till June and July and just kind of save them in our back pocket.
Right. Yeah. Play the weather card.
Play the weather card and say, look, today I need it to rain. I need an inch of rain today, and I'm gonna, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, that would be, it'd be nice if you could do that with all types of weather, even the sunny days and the snowy days, right?
Oh yeah, I'd like 6 inches of snow today, or I would like 85 degrees weather in January.
What aggravates me, I think, more than anything is when you've got you look at the weather and it's 0% chance, and it's crazy rains and storms and stuff.
Oh,
It's like, how did you not see that coming? I don't get it. Or vice versa when they go, oh, it's 80% chance of rain, and then you look, and it's, I don't know, it's just jacked up. I mean, I've had it say 80% chance of rain before, and then I switch over to the hourly forecast, and on any given hour, there's no more than 15% chance. Yeah. And then you dig deeper into that 15% chance, and it's a 15% chance of like 1/100th of an inch or something. It's like, oh my God.
It's funny. I was a friend of mine's, I guess it'd be stepson, is a weatherman or meteorologist, whatever the hell you want to call it. Young, getting into the business, mid-20s, whatever. The percentage of rain is not the percentage that it's going to rain. It's the percentage of the area that you're in that will get rain. So if it says 80%, it doesn't mean it's 80% chance to rain. It means that 80% of that area will get rain. It's kind of an interesting thing. I didn't know that. So it's weird. Then again, the weatherman or meteorologist is like the greatest job in the world, where you could, if you're right 50% of the time, you're a hero, and they make a lot of good money just being right 50% of the time. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
I don't know. I guess I don't know how long you have to go to school for that.
David
Probably not
Letterman
too.
was the weatherman, so probably not very long.
Yeah, I figure probably not too well, I mean, obviously you can probably get a doctorate and crazy things in meteorology, but just to
Yeah.
be a meteorologist for like a radio or TV station, you got to figure it's probably not that long.
Well, and here's the thing: being a meteorologist isn't the same thing as necessarily being a weather person. The weather person just might be an on-screen personality that's reading off the information that the scientist is giving them. So, unless they say they're a meteorologist, if they just say they're a weatherman, then that, or weather person, don't want to get canceled. Now, I think in today's society they're all meteorologists, but back in the 80s and all of that, maybe into the 90s, you had weather people that weren't meteorologists. They were just there. A lot of them were comedians or whatever, and they were on air talent, if you will. So that's what it is.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, let's kick it off, I guess, with the you got first topic for this one.
I do. So,
Well,
being that it's Mother's Day, and we're not going to talk necessarily about Mother's Day stuff, but in general, we're getting ready to Mother's Day kind of kicks off. I know a lot of people say that Memorial Day kind of kicks off summer, but Mother's Day is only a couple weeks out. So I think that that's where people start thinking about summertime and cookouts and holidays, 4th of July, Memorial Day, and all that. So I want to talk about like summertime, like, how do I put this? Holiday food, whether it's Memorial Day, whether it's 4th of July, Labor Day, all of that stuff that we
summertime
kind of
food.
do summertime, like party food or whatever, the cookouts and all that. So when a lot of people can, when I think of Memorial Day and 4th of July, it's cookouts, right?
Mhm.
And so a lot of people do a lot of different things with cookouts. So I want to talk about like what we do. Like for cookouts, is it burgers? Is it steaks? Is it chicken? Is it barbecue, smoking barbecue? Is it, you throwing, vegetables on there and all that? So I want to kind of talk a little bit about summertime holiday food. So I know you're a big smoker and barbecue guy. When you think of Memorial Day and 4th of July, is it barbecue based, or is it burgers and dogs based, or is it chicken based, or is it all of the above?
That's tough because I mean, I was without a smoker for so long, but now that I've got one again, I mean, it's running probably 3 days a week,
Yeah.
and pretty much year round. So yeah, I don't know that we have anything that's, seasonally specific or
Well,
anything
I'm just
like
saying,
that.
when you think about doing a
Um,
4th of July cookout, what's your
yeah.
go-to?
You got to look at probably dogs, burgers, and typically pre-made, the pre-made frozen patties or something. You can doctor those up with some sauce and some spices and stuff. But typically something cheap. When you're looking at some type of a cookout thing, because typically there's quite a few people there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't throw porterhouses on the grill. Well, so maybe some people out there that can. I can't.
Depends on how big the cookout
Um,
is. How many people are going to be there? You're not going to want to spend money for everyone to get a porterhouse, but if it's
right.
only a
Yeah,
few
yeah, yeah.
people, you could.
Yeah. Yeah, but when I think cookout, I think a
Yeah,
fairly
absolutely.
significant
Yeah.
get together, and so
Yeah.
usually you go, you may go with some type of link sausages, or you've got the dogs, you got the burgers,
Mhm.
maybe chicken, right?
Yep.
Something
I
along that line.
always get a little bit of chicken for people that don't do dogs or burgers. Just maybe get a little small box of some chicken breast or something. Say, hey, anybody want some chicken? There's some available, and
Boneless thighs are
you
pretty
know,
amazing. They're fairly
yeah,
cheap, and
yeah,
you don't got bones to contend with and all
yeah,
that. They do really good on a grill or a smoker.
yep.
The way
They
you can wrap up things with those two, which is really cool. If you're out there and you haven't ever looked into the boneless thighs,
mhm.
the way that they are, when they debone and do all of that, yeah, you can wrap peppers up in you know what I mean, wrap
Oh
them
yeah,
around
oh
peppers
yeah,
or wrap them
sure.
around different types of cheeses, or I mean, you can do all kind of
Hmm.
crazy stuff. Basically, stuff them in a way,
Yeah,
which can be really good.
yep. Um, Do you when you have people over, do you guys provide is that, let's say you're hosting the cookout, and the kids are coming over and all that, friends or whatever, are you providing all of like the sides, whether it's, baked beans or slaw or chips and desserts, or do you ask them to, hey, can I bring anything? Yeah, bring a dessert, or maybe bring some beans, or bring sweet some potato salad or something, or bring cups and napkins, or are you one of those that provides all of that for everybody, so they just need to show up?
If somebody asks about bringing something, it's usually if somebody does something fairly well, then maybe.
Yeah, sure, yeah, depends on who
Um,
asks, huh?
but I hate to leave it. I hate just to leave it to random, because there are some people that can't cook certain things worth a flip, and so you know, I would prefer everybody. I guess everybody to bring their best, if that makes any sense. And if you can't, then pull a Phoebe, right? Bring cups and ice.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, cups and ice go a long way. Paper plates, paper cups, napkins, all that stuff
Right.
goes a long way.
Right.
Yeah, if you're like, hey, if you want to,
Now,
can I bring something? Ah, do you want to make something, or you just want to bring something? Oh, I can make something. Yeah, I mean, make whatever you want. Almost make it like a potluck, and
now,
don't tell them what to make. Just say, hey, make whatever you want. And then usually, most people in that situation will kind of go to whatever they're, like you said, best at, right?
hmm now
Typically.
on the now on the plates, do you go paper or styrofoam, and do you go segmented or non-segmented?
Yep.
Do you cheap out as much as possible? We cheap out. I'll go ahead and answer
I
this on
I
our end. We
go
we
I
try to
go
cheap out.
paper non-segmented, just regular old paper plates, and yeah, I mean they're just a regular old. You can get a stack of 100 for $1 paper plates, and obviously when I eat myself, I'm probably gonna have two or three of those plates just for support. But yeah, I don't do like the segmented where it's okay, here's for your beans and here's for your potato salad and here's all that. No, it's just here's some plates. And because let's be honest, when it comes to stuff like that, it's all going to get mixed up together where you got corn and all that. It's the great thing about cookout food, in my opinion, is it all tastes good together. So yeah, I'm not one of those. Now, typically, I don't like my food to touch in general, like in regular life. But for cookouts, it's almost impossible, right? People who can't cook go to the store. Yeah, I have no problem if someone says, "Hey, can I bring a dessert?" Yeah, man, go for it. And they bring like grocery store cookies or grocery store cupcakes. I'm down with that. I'm okay with that. Just because you say you're going to bring something doesn't mean that it has to be homemade. If you want to bring baked beans and one of the restaurants has really good baked beans, by all means. There are a lot of times when I'll go somewhere, we'll have some friends, and I'll go by the Mexican restaurant and get some chips and cheese dip. And that's what I bring over because it's amazing and everyone's going to love it. So, if you aren't one of those people that are cooking or don't have time to cook, it is, in my opinion, you're not going to offend me if you bring restaurant or store bought baked goods or baked beans or potato salads or whatever, bread, rolls, whatever. It is not going to offend me if you bring it all store. I do not expect anyone to go home and make things to bring to a cookout. That's just me. What about you? When people say they want to bring something, are you expecting them to cook it themselves or a store bought? Okay.
I am not the biggest fan of store bought. It kind of depends on, I guess, what it is, but store bought baked goods typically suck. You know,
Well,
um,
and you don't have to eat them, but
you're
other
talking
people
about
enjoy
going.
them.
True, you're talking about going to a restaurant and picking up stuff. That's a little different, I think,
Yeah.
than picking up something in the whatever the bakery
Yeah.
section of the Walmart or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, a little bit different scenario, I think. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really had it. I, you know, there's been get-togethers, I should say, and it's not anything necessarily planned by me, but there have been get-togethers where you kind of feel sorry for some of the people that, and again, it goes back to sometimes they can't cook and they bring something that's god awful, and people don't eat it. But then people also bring, somebody, if I bake pies, for example, and bring them, and then somebody's brought a pie from Walmart, nobody's touching that Walmart pie. And so they wasted their money on a pie, is, on top of maybe some hurt feelings or something going on. Um, they wasted their money on that. And so there's a few different angles that I come at. Like if everybody, I don't know, I live in an area, and I don't know, maybe you do too, but and there's other people out there that do, but I live in an area that everybody has a lane as far as being able to cook something that other people really enjoy. And most people, I think, have multiple things, right? I mean, they may not be five-star Michelin chefs, right? But they have, half a dozen, 10 things that, at any given time they can make that, you know, um, they take somewhere and people are really going to enjoy. They're known for or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, so you don't just if you get store bought stuff around here. And again, I'm saying I'm not talking about from a restaurant. I've seen that too, and that goes over pretty well. Fried chicken at events, a lot of times it goes
Oh
over
yeah.
really well.
Oh yeah.
And they pick that up at the grocery store or wherever. Um, but specifically from a store, typically the people that bring that here, and I can raise my hand and say we're guilty of doing it on occasion, is because we forgot, we ran out of time, went to cook something and something weird happened. You know what I mean? Like you go
Mm.
to cook and it's like crap. You get everything to start warming the oven up and you plug the mixer in or you do something and the next thing you know the lights go out or some crazy,
Yeah. For
something
me,
happens.
it's
So
usually ran out of time. Like if we're
yeah,
going somewhere, it's typically we're
yeah,
going to come home from work, get changed. Obviously, not going to
yeah,
have time to cook something, so we're like, hey,
yeah,
let's just stop by and grab
yeah.
something just
No,
because of
totally.
time, you know.
Yeah, no, totally, totally.
So yeah, it's one of those where I think that it's fun because a lot of people, I think it's also dependent upon where you live. Um, People down south tend to, do burgers, dogs, barbecue, and all that. Up north, they do a lot of pizza parties. They do a lot of like bratwurst.
Hmm.
It's a little bit different depending on
And I could see it,
geographically where you are.
especially if you had one of those, pellet style
Mhm.
pizza ovens, like outdoor pizza ovens or something.
Yep.
And for the longest, and we redo, build the new house and do the other thing. It's probably going to happen then. I don't see it happening before then, but the Blackstone, the
Hmm.
griddle or whatever,
Oh yeah.
the cooktop. Like forever, I wanted that to be able to do. With that you can do more of like a, you know, uh, what am I thinking? Like the Asian style food, like Genghis, and you can do some stuff like that. You could do some
Hmm.
fried rice and
Oh yeah.
various other things on something like that, which I think would be really cool too.
Yeah, we've got a flat grill that's plug. Actually, it's an electric flat grill. Kind of like when you go to Benihana's, that kind of a grill, and it's probably 3 feet by foot and a half. Plugs in, you heat it up to whatever temperature you want, and you can do that kind of Benihana style cooking on it, and it's
Hmm.
pretty awesome. You do steak, fried rice,
Oh
all
yeah,
that stuff. It's pretty
or
cool.
breakfast food. I mean, you can do whatever you
Breakfast food.
wanted, but
So we did that last night. So we
that's
did.
funny.
I was fiending for breakfast food last night. So I went and got some Texas toast, and we did grilled ham, egg, and cheese sandwiches on Texas toast. And it was so good. I love breakfast food at night, man.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, just like I said, it adds. If you've already got a smoker slash grill, whatever, then just adds another dynamic to that. You could do your sides. Of course, I did potatoes and corn. We did. I think Ozzy was that Ozzy out there talking about barbecue butterfly chops. Actually smoked some butterfly chops a few
Hmm.
nights ago, a few days ago, and then also did corn and potatoes on the smoker.
Oh yeah.
That was that was pretty off the chain. So you could certainly do sides on there, but if you've got yeah, if you've got the griddle, the cooktop, or whatever type thing,
Yep. Yep.
that just increases your options, right, for your sides and your other things
Yep.
too.
I've got a really cool cast iron griddle that's it's by itself, and you can put it on top of like my gas stove and do steaks or whatever on there. But it's a flat top cast iron griddle, but it's not part of the stove itself. You just put it on top of
Yeah.
the burners, and it works awesome.
Well, I would like at some point almost like an outdoor kitchen setup. I think we've
Oh yeah,
gotten off
sure.
topic. We went from
Yeah, it's all good. It's
our
all
foods.
food.
We went from our foods here into how we do it. But
Yeah, but you know
uh,
what? That's part of it too, right?
yeah. But the only thing, I mean, if I had my smoker grill setup I've got now, I added that flat top, and then I would like some type of an outdoor oven. Uh,
Sure.
and
Now, are you talking about an enclosed oven, or are you talking about like a
like an
brick
actual,
oven,
no, like
or like
an actual oven.
but just outside? Okay.
Like, I don't know. I mean, it could
You're not
work
talking
for
about like
like
a brick pizza oven. You're talking about an actual like oven.
maybe. I haven't put a
Okay.
lot of thought, but I would want to be able to do my biscuits, my potentially cakes or something, and not have to go back and forth into the house. That's what I'm getting at.
Right. Yeah. No,
Would
I hear
would
you.
be would be nice, and then having a sink there too would be nice. Just a way to
Oh yeah.
wash your hands real quick, if nothing else, that type of
Well,
stuff. And of course,
you put like an old kind of a barn sink or something with
yeah,
the
yeah,
wider, thicker one. You can put all the pots and the pans or everything you're using, skillets,
yeah,
and let them soak in there, outside and before you take them inside and all that. So yeah, maybe a great idea.
yeah, yep.
There you go. Yeah, you guys know that we are powered once again this season thanks to our friends over at European American Army, EAA Corp, if you will. Looking forward to seeing Chase and Keith and Paul this coming week down in Dallas. But you guys know that they have for a long time, but especially the last few years, man, they have hit some home runs, including NRA's handgun of the year with the P35, the PI model of the high power, but they've got the 2311s out there. They've got the MC14Ts. They've got the new Untouchables, the Disruptors. They've got so many guns out there for everyone. I mean, they've got different sizes. They've got different calibers of 1911s. They've got different sizes of 1911s. They've got the Regards, which are the 92s. All sorts of stuff. If you guys have been around either one of our channels for a while, you know that we're big fans of EAA. They're doing a great job. Looking forward to this week. I know there's another announcement Friday at their booth at 11:30. So if you're going to be at NRAM on Friday, go check out EAA's booth at 11:30. I know that you've been working with the Untouchable. Are you still enjoying it?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I was having a chat with somebody just the other night and recommended that one. They kind of new to firearms, and they're like, "Oh man, I really want a Colt 45." Is what they said,
Sure.
and I'm like, "Okay, pause." Right, that's my first thing, and I'm like, "Are you
It's maybe
talking?"
only a few guns they know the name of, though.
Are you well? Are you to when people say that, my mind goes to a single action army.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you say Colt
Not a
45, are you
1911.
talking?
Yeah.
I'm thinking revolver and 45 Colt.
Yeah.
And so are you talking about that, or are you talking about a 1911? And it was a 1911. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Right.
cool. I said, yeah, everybody, needs a 1911. I said, I'll tell you something though. Uh, you know, being that he was, new, I think maybe he had a couple of guns he's bought so far. And I'm like, Colt is not what it used to be. Not even close. I said, and for the
Hasn't been for a long
price,
time.
I'm like, there is a lot of good 1911s out there, much, much, much cheaper than Colt. So unless your heart's just set on, the name, potential investment factor, some other things, there's reasons to buy Colt. I'm not not saying there's not. Um, Maybe you look into some of those. And of course, the Gersons and specifically the Untouchable was one of them that I did recommend, and he seems pretty excited about the proposition that he could get into a what I think anyways a pretty reliable 1911 for what a third half for sure
At
cost of the
least,
Colt.
yeah. Yep. No, exactly. Reliable. You're going to get good quality. The good thing is if you know Clover or I, and something does happen, we can make sure you get in touch with the right people, and they'll take care of you. They're always good about that.
Yeah, but to go off on a tangent on that real quick,
Okay.
um, it it chaps my rear end when, and I think it's the participation trophies
You
part
should
of
use
society.
chapstick.
This is true, yeah. Um, but I think that it's the participation trophy mentality in society, the entitlement, maybe instant gratification is a part of it. There's a lot of reasons, a lot of things are going on. I think, and people just been conditioned now for years. And the older generations out there like me, you guys and gals know what I'm talking about with this, um, but even some of the older generations can be Karens, let's just say. When
Sure.
they have an issue, like any company that builds any product at any given time can have an issue with said product. It happens. And, when you go to seek out customer service, be civil about it and don't be an entitled, vicious, hateful, horrible brat about it. Um, and it will go a long way, and I think you'll have a much better experience. And you and I both know we've got friends and a lot of friends in the industry, and what is one of the common themes that we hear, right? And it's returns and how hateful the people are when they call because they've got a problem, right? Or more, I don't
Right.
say returns, but warranties, and how
Sure.
hateful people are. And it's like, just stop it. Like things happen.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hilarious, like especially in EAA's case, and I've known some people that we know that are friends of ours, or at least acquaintances of ours that have called Gerson and are furious as to why Gerson won't answer their phone, return their calls. I'm like, you realize they're in Turkey, right? They're only about what, 10, 12 hours time difference. So when
Mm,
you're calling, they're not at work. And if they try to call you back, um, if anything, it's you're not awake either. So if you're going to make sure that
right.
if you're going to call a company, make sure that you know who you're calling. Um, Make sure that you know if it's overseas, what the time difference is, and adapt to that. More importantly, and this is whether it's overseas or here, and they put this without sounding, well, I don't care if I sound mean or not. Have normal expectations of what the outcome can be. Whoever you talk to, no matter what company, what brand, I don't care if it's Toyota, if it's whatever, no matter what you're calling someone about, that person is not going to fix it for you over the phone. If it's an actual item, right? They're not going to be able to do anything for you over the phone. You're going to have to send it to them. They're going to have to fix it. They're going to have to send it back to you. Understand that. And like you said, when you have every gun company is going to have issues when you're making that many guns. Does it mean that the company's terrible? Does it mean that gun's terrible? No, you might have just gotten one of those guns. Give them the opportunity to make it right before you blast them.
Yep.
Our buddy Chase out there says, if you come in hot, I'm highly inclined not to go the extra mile for that person. If you're civil, I'll do what I can. It's pretty much I think so too. It's how
Yep.
you present the
I
problem.
was that
It's
way.
how you express the problem. It's how you understand the situation and what it's going to take to get that done. If you're civil, if you're fair, and you understand what the problem and the process is, you're going to be all right. But I find too many people say, well, I called them and they said they couldn't do anything about it that day and they're terrible. Well, what do you expect a person to do for you over the phone when it's a broken part or possibly a broken part? They don't even know if it's an actual defective thing yet. It could just be you. But what do you expect them to do? Like, they're not going to promise you they're just going to send you a brand new gun or a brand new car or brand new whatever. They're going to ask you, hey, you need to bring it in or send it to us, and we'll take a look at it. And if there's something that we see that's something wrong, that's something that's our side of it, then absolutely we'll take care of it. But what they also need to understand is a lot of problems people have with guns or with toys or with cars, whatever, it's how they're using it or how they're not taking care of it, or what they have a lot to do with the issues at hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed.
There's my soapbox for today. So
Yeah.
Before we go on to Clover's topic, we do remind everybody that immediately following his topic, we do have the third segment, which is the random viewer topic. You must stick around if you want to be included in that. Right when we get done with Clover's topic, we will talk about what you need to do to enter. And if you are going to enter, go ahead and have a topic in mind. It could be pretty much anything. We can talk about whatever, but have that topic in mind in case you do get picked. We don't have to wait forever with dead silence in the air, because you know what? The worst thing in a podcast is dead air. So, Clove, it is on you. What is your topic for the night? Speaking of dead air.
Yeah. I want to talk about be patient. Patience, grasshopper, patience. I want to talk about bad habits in the sense of, I guess shooting sports overall.
Okay.
Not, we all have all
Not
kinds
not in life in general,
that
but
could be
actually
life in general can
shooting
be a
bad habits.
huge rabbit hole. Let's
We
not
could go down
that
there
rabbit hole.
for about a week if you wanted to do that.
But let's talk about bad habits. It's kind of what I was, and I'll explain. I'll explain here why I was thinking about that today, actually, and then I'll give you a little chance to run with it too, and whatever you think. So, um, I was thinking about a couple of something happened in the last couple of days that I picked up on and I noticed, and it wasn't a comment in any videos or nothing like that. I'm surprised, but I haven't gotten anything like that. But was editing, you know me, I love editing videos, and I noticed that I'm like, and it was with what was it with? I'm not gonna say what it was with because it might be against go against the grain on EAA. So anyway, it was a video, a recent video. Put it that way. It was a handgun. And I noticed I'm like, oh man, was I closing my eye? Was I squinting my eye? Man, it was like noticeable. And there's no doubt that I do it, and I know exactly why I do it.
I do it, yeah.
Because I'm looking for accuracy. It's not speed, it's not self-defense, it's not transitional. I was shooting a video and trying to get good groups. And so, I was at best squinting, non-dominant eye, and at worst closing. Well, that comes from the precision competition background. And so in the self-defense arena, that would be considered a bad habit, even though it's technically not really a bad habit because you do it all the time if you're
wanting to consider that a bad habit in the self-defense
for precision, right? So like, is it or is it not? And then so I got to thinking about, oh man, that'd be a good topic for Sunday. And then I got to thinking about it, and I thought about this kiddo that we had one time years ago in the program. Man, late junior high, early high school. I don't think the kiddo was a football player, but was a big kiddo. Could have definitely been one. But it seemed like he had knee trouble or something was going on. And in the kneeling position, if you're going, 3-position small bore, something like that, in the kneeling position, proper form and all that, typically you put a bag at the front of your ankle, when you get down, that fills that gap between that triangle that you make between your foot or whatever, your ankle and the ground. All about stability and having contact and everything else with your form and precision. And then you put your butt on that foot. And so because he had some, and again, and I'm not talking about fat. I'm talking about he was a big, like, lineman. Think of freshman football or something, lineman. Big kid. Um, he, like I said, just had some knee trouble or whatever, and he just could not get his butt down on that foot. Um, and so that presented a couple of different issues that, in some competitions you can only have one bag. And so it's like, do you put that bag under your ankle, or do you try to put that bag between the foot and the butt? What do you do? And it got me to thinking about my situation. I mean, my situation led into that because I was like, depending on the perspective and who's looking at that, they may go, man, he's got a bad habit. He's not practicing proper form, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, well, he's got a medical condition that prevents him from doing it, right? So it's like, it's not really a bad habit because he's got to find a way to kind of get around that because he can't do it properly. Same way as I know people that either they've injured or maybe they've even lost a trigger finger and they pull the trigger with their middle finger,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
They've got some type of dexterity issue, arthritis, is whatever it is going on. I know some people that are that way too. So, again, you get into things that are not necessarily a bad habit. So, I guess my question is, does perception matter? Do you really have to scrutinize and analyze that before you start talking smack about somebody else having a bad habit?
Well, I first off, things that I do and things that you do and things that other people, Chris and Ozzy and Scott and all these guys out here, G23, we're all going to shoot differently. We're going to have basically the same kind of fundamental base, but we're all going to shoot differently because of how we're built or because we have ailments or whatever. I squint my left eye when I shoot, not because I'm a precision shooter. It's because I'm left eye dominant. And I have to kind of squint my left eye, not necessarily close it, but squint it so that my right eye gets the best picture, right? It gets the dominant picture at that point. So I learned that in the Marine Corps. Instead of teaching me how to shoot left-handed, they just taught me how to do that. And it may not be the greatest thing out there for precision shooting and all of that, but I can shoot with anybody in a self-defense, and I'd put my skills up against anybody. So it's not affecting my ability to hit targets. But someone's going to say, "Oh, why don't you shoot with both eyes open?" Because I'm left eye dominant, shooting from the right side. I don't have that option. It's not easy for me to do both eyes open because it changes my sight picture if my left eye is the dominant sight. So it changes everything. As far as context going so far, my thing is this, and this is really a personal thing, but I go back to everyone having different reasons to have different habits and different styles and different things, nuances to their shooting and shooting styles. What the hell does it matter? I don't care how you shoot. I don't care how Scott or Artac or Chase or Defense Dad or Chris or Gary or G Webs, I don't care how you shoot as long as you're safe and you can hit a target and you're not going to just be all over the place. I don't care what your style is, what your mechanics are. I don't care if you pull a trigger finger with your middle finger. I don't care if you squint. I don't care how you stand. I don't care. As long as you're effective, you're efficient, and you're not dangerous, we're good. Now, G says he shoots the right way. He shoots the right way for him. And I know he's being facetious, but I don't care. I do not care. Yeah, if you teacup, cool, whatever. Just be efficient, be accurate. Don't be unsafe. Don't be dangerous on the range. But let's get back to the point: is what does it matter? What do you have going on in your life if you get your kicks by critiquing everybody at the range or on YouTube videos on the way they shoot? Well, I guarantee you that I could find some fault with you if you want me to dive in. So my thing is if you're out on the range or you're out somewhere, you're hunting, whatever, you're enjoying the firearm life. And once again, you're safe. You're not dangerous. You're efficient. what the hell do I care how you shoot or whatever nuances you have to your style, you know?
Well, yeah, but then you can interject another dynamic that what if it is a situation where somebody is not they're not very accurate, they're not very proficient, and
Okay.
they want
That's a
they
whole
want to
other
be.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're seeing things. So I'm coming at this from a different perspective now. I'm coming at it from the people that somebody that notices the quote unquote bad habit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're wanting to do better and all of this. You got to be able to try to approach that in a way where I guess where you're open minded, where you recognize that there could be a reason. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing it because they don't know. Because let's be honest, there's especially when you talk about new people that are new to shooting sports, they're new firearm owners, whatever. Potentially, it's not a bad habit. They're just there's a lot of people that don't know, right, the
Mm-hmm.
correct form, like the
Mm-hmm.
and I say correct, the optimal way of doing things necessarily. Um, and so being able to to identify that and handle that in a way that's a little bit open minded, realizing that how opinionated some in our community can be. It's like it's my way or the highway, and it doesn't matter, right? Like there's people out
No,
there that
I'm very aware of that attitude. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's like if you're not doing it this way, then it's wrong. Period. And you won't change their mind, and they'll hate you forever because of it. It's like okay, but and I'm not. You don't want to necessarily get coined as one of those people. So
Yeah, you
uh,
don't want to be a know-it-all. You don't want to be
yeah,
the guy that is the know-it-all because nobody likes the know-it-all. But I think what if you're in that situation where someone is, and let's not say that person is dangerous, right? Um, let's say that he's less effective, less efficient, and you see things that could be changed to make him more efficient, right?
hmm
Um, if someone's just dangerous, that's a whole nother conversation. But someone that could be better, that may not have had any formal training or someone helping, that they're literally just kind of self-taught. Cool. I love that. There is a way because you don't know why they're doing that. And I think that this is where a conversation comes place. If you walk up to the person and say, hey, brother, like, hey, man, you need to try doing it this way and all that. First of all, you might get met with the result that you don't like. I think you walk up, maybe if you're able to walk up and say, hey, man, I see you're shooting. He goes, how long you been shooting? Try to find
yeah,
out some background information.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You
A
only
little bit
shooting
of
very long. He's
recon.
like, anyone really kind
Yeah,
of teach you how? Oh, not really self-taught. Hey, you know what? You're doing a great job, with what you're doing. If you don't mind, I can show you a couple different ways that might help you get better quicker, and make it that way. But the people that walk up, and we see these people all the time at ranges or whatever, comments in YouTube's, YouTube certified firearm instructor, whatever. We see this all the time. But if someone just walks up, hey, brother, you need to do this, I don't need to do shit.
right.
Um, I don't need to do anything. You need to do this, it'll make you better. Well, what makes you that person that I need to listen to? Once again, I
Yeah,
think a
how do you
conversation.
know when you don't know anything about me?
That's correct. Yeah. Once again, the
Yeah,
conversation goes a long way for context, for background info, for recon, whatever you want to call it. Being able to have a conversation with someone, try to find some common ground with that person, and maybe open up that dialogue, and then you can start suggesting maybe different things. Or, hey, would you be open to trying a couple things? Because I think this might help you. If it doesn't, you can go back to the way you're doing it, but you can approach it in a way that's not menacing. It's not direct conflict with them. It's you're there, you drop your guard almost and say, you know, I'm here to help. And I think that if you go about it the right way, you can tell anybody whatever you want to tell them if
right.
you approach it the right way.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree. All right. Well, that pretty much closes out mine. I'm getting the
There you go.
screen share up here for
Mhm.
everybody.
So to be eligible for the third segment, which is the random viewer topic, once again, you bring the topic, we talk about it. Even if we don't know what it is, we will figure out a way to talk about it for a segment. All you got to do is out in the chat is push the number 6. No hashtag, no nothing, just the number 6 and hit enter, and that will enter you into the drawing here in a couple of minutes. We'll give you a couple of minutes and all that. While we're doing that, let's talk a little bit about this segment sponsor. This segment is brought to you by our good friends over at Monstrum Tactical. And if you guys have been around it all the last few years and you're looking for, how do I put this, budget-friendly optics and accessories with whether it's rings or scope mounts or whatever, but they're known for their optics and all that. Monstrum, I've been working with them since, I don't know, 2019, I think, is the first time I really started messing with Monstrum. The last few years, they have they understand who they are, and they're not trying to be something that they're not. What they do know is what they are, and they want to own that and own that section of the market. And what they are is a company that's going to bring you fantastic, valued optics for a price that is really affordable for anybody. If you really take it and break it down to what you're getting for that price, you're probably getting more value for what you're getting with Monstrum than you are from other companies for at least the same price, if not more. So I know you're a big fan of Monstrum also. You've been working with them for a long time as well. And, I'm not the only one that thinks highly of them, obviously, Clove.
Yeah. I like BFOs, man. When you said that, budget-friendly optics, I'm like, we've used that term for a long time. We need to start calling that BFOs. We just need an inside acronym for all that. That sounds fancier than budget-friendly optics.
Yeah.
So, I got. As a matter of fact, was it today or yesterday? I don't remember. I got the new Monstrum. I think it's called the Dreadlock.
Yeah.
One-piece cantilever mount.
There you go.
And it's got to go on something. I'm not real sure exactly what it's going to go on yet, but probably on the Anderson AM9. I'm pretty sure that's a Monstrum Banshee on that.
There you go.
But man, is it any different or is it any better or worse than the Monstrum mount that is already on that? No. But man, it looks cool. They put some lightning cuts in it and some other things. I would have to weigh the two out, compare to see. But it definitely looks wicked, man. It looks a lot better. Yeah. And so, I say that because we talk about it all the time, not just to point out the optics, whether that's the LPVOs, like the Banshee or the Panzer, which is their first focal plane line, by the way.
Yep.
But also the mounts and things that they've got. They've got a plethora, and I use that term, a plethora of mounting options and things as well.
Plethora always brings you back to Three Amigos. No matter when I hear that word, I don't care who says it. A plethora. G-Web says budget-friendly optic, BUFO, pronounced Bufu. So G is trying to rain on your parade and create another term right here in front of you, and is really not worried about that. He's not really about upsetting you and all that. So I will give you guys about 15, 20 more seconds, if that. If you're out there and you want to be included in this and bring the last topic. Like I said, it could be anything, as long as it doesn't get us kicked off of YouTube or the podcast platforms. And you guys know what kind of topics we're talking about. Other than that, we're open to whatever topic. Just click the number 6, push number 6, push 6, enter the number 6 and enter, and you are good to go.
Yep. And have the topic in mind. Get that ready.
Yeah.
Like now.
Do us a favor. Like G23's already thrown a topic out.
That's fine.
And we don't care what it is unless he gets chosen. Then I guess we could use
that'll
that
be there. Do it ahead of time.
Ozzy says he's got 2 Monstrum products. He's a big fan. Yep. There you go. You want to go ahead and spin that wheel? No whammies.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No whammies. No whammies. No whammies.
I haven't seen either of our names in there, so that's kind of cool.
That's good.
Scott
Scott.
is
There
and
you
Scott
go.
just commented. So
Yeah, so I know he's out there. So yeah, Scott, give us a topic, my man. Let us know what you want us to talk about and extrapolate on for a few minutes. See, I threw that word. That's my word of the day, by the way. Extrapolate.
extrapolate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my word of the day. I'm trying to sound smarter than I really am. I write all of my words of the days in crayons, and I'm hoping that they, I say them right. So if I said them wrong out there, I'm still learning these words. Pretty sure I said it right though. All right, Scott, let's hear what you got to say. Chase said he protests. You can protest in person this week. So
Yeah, overruled. I'm gonna start the clock because Scott is not
Yep.
giving us the topic, and we've
Yep.
got to get moving here.
We
So you
do.
got 30 seconds, Scott. We should have told people to make sure they were live and click that button because that is a possibility that it could be, 15, 20 seconds behind in the stream. Uh, he did put some stuff out there, but it was prior to our asking for the topics. I don't know if that is the topic or not. So, yeah.
Can I spell extrapolate? No.
I'm
Chance
going
no.
to spin again.
All
I
right.
don't know what happened. That's crazy. He was in the
If we
chat.
get
He
something
was right
if we
there.
get something from Scott here in the next couple seconds while we're still spinning, obviously we'll take it. But yeah, go ahead and spin that wheel. No whammies. No whammies.
Neither one of us is
No
in the drawing though.
whammies.
That's kind of neat. Usually,
Yep.
for whatever reason,
Yes.
one of us gets put in
Yep.
there.
Typically, defense dad.
So, boom, there's defense dad.
Boom.
So we'll run the
He's
clock
been-
now again.
All right, so Scott brought one out, so he might
There
be
he
a little behind. He says, "Hey, how about how about the barbecue thing, pork or beef?" Okay, well, I will say this: since I've lived in Arkansas, most Arkansas barbecue is pulled pork, and I do appreciate it like a pulled pork sandwich. I'm not gonna lie. But when I think barbecue, this is where I grew up and how I grew up and all that. When I think when someone says barbecue, my mind immediately goes to brisket. Okay, that's how I was raised. When we barbecue and we got barbecue, it was brisket. It was beef brisket.
Yeah.
Now that I've gotten to Arkansas, when they say barbecue, it's a pulled pork restaurant. And I don't mind either one. But personally, still to this day, when I hear barbecue, my mind immediately goes to a beef brisket. What about you?
Well, man, which one? I just had a chopped beef sandwich Friday, was it? I think. So, but with that said, usually when I hear barbecue, my mind first goes to pork.
Okay.
Because while a brisket I think is man, it's up there. It's a battle for number one. It's
yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's got a place in the monarch's court, let's just say, for sure.
Oh yeah. It's on Mount Rushmore for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. When I hear the catch-all term, let's say somebody's inviting me over. They said, I got you over for some barbecue. Odds are it's gonna be pork, and it's just by the odds, because you've got brisket, and sure you've got ribs with beef that
sure.
But let's be honest, pork ribs are superior.
They are.
And
they are.
if you don't think so, you're gross. So, and then what else do you got, right? Whereas, and not that you can't grill a steak, but we're talking barbecue. When I think barbecue, I think smoked,
Absolutely.
I think barbecue sauce, I think all that.
Mhm.
And you're not going to do that with a steak. So with pork, however, with pork chops, with different types of chops, you got the ribs, you got pork butt, for the pulled pork.
Butt is so good.
You're gonna smoke a ham even. there's just man, there's just
Yeah.
so many more parts of that pig, right? That you're going to
Yep.
throw on that smoker or potentially, potentially smoke or put him whole in the ground or even a hole on the smoker. I've seen that
Yep.
multiple times as well.
Now, Chase makes a good point. He says barbecue is smoking over low heat,
Yep.
grilling is cooking over an open flame at higher heat. Fight me. No, he's 100%
No,
correct.
that's true.
For me, when I, once again, and I think it's also how you're raised and all of that. When I grew up and we were having barbecue, it was always, my dad I was never a rib guy. And I don't mind ribs now, but when I grew up, the ribs we ate were always the beef ribs. We always had brisket, beef ribs. Maybe why I was never a rib fan growing up. Pork ribs, fantastic. But I'm not a huge barbecue sauce guy either. And there are certain sauces that I do like. But in general, I'm not a huge sauce guy. And I think a lot of times with ribs, it depends on the sauce. It can be really good ribs, but if the sauce is too sweet or if it's too whatever, it ruins everything. So I'm not a huge rib guy. That said, reason why I think barbecue, when I think brisket, when I think barbecue is we always had a brisket. We always had ribs and all that. And we always had like the baked beans and the cream corn and potato salad, all that stuff. But it was based around beef, the brisket and the ribs. Once again, now living in Arkansas for over 20 years, when everyone around here says, hey, there's a new barbecue joint opening up, it's always pork. Now, will they have maybe brisket on the menu? Sure. Sometimes they will. Most of them will have a brisket. If nothing else, a brisket sandwich or something like that. They'll have brisket on the menu, but it's very much dominated by pork. Barbecue dishes.
And a lot of the logos, the decor,
are pigs.
Most of it is pigs. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scott says, but good barbecues is all about the rub, not the sauce, and so
that's true. But and that's what I'm talking about. I'm a big rub guy. The sauce, I do not. I refuse to understand why people use steak sauce on steaks unless it's just a bad steak. My thing is barbecue. I kind of look at the same way. If you have a good rub, you shouldn't need the sauce. Now, the problem with it is a little bit of sauce is fine, but I think most restaurants, they soak them in sauce, and I don't like that.
Yeah, you should never have to soak it. When I'm dealing with a sandwich, normally what I like to do is take a little bit of sauce, deconstruct almost my sandwich, and put a little bit of sauce, almost like you would a condiment on the top of the bun, on the bottom side of the top of the bun, if you get what I'm saying, and then on the bottom side of the bottom of the bottom of the bun, and then that's plenty. But I would say number one is the smoke, because I've been to barbecue.
Are you a mesquite? What kind of wood
I'm not even
you
picky.
Like to smoke with?
I'm not even picky
Okay.
about that. I'm not even picky about that.
My dad was really picky about mesquite, and I don't know why. Maybe that's how he grew up.
Yeah. See, I prefer. My preference is some type of fruit or nut.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Right,
a little sweeter,
which mesquite is not.
No, it's definitely sweeter.
Well, it could be.
So you kind of like a sweeter.
I wouldn't consider hickory sweet, right? And hickory's going to be.
Well, you said fruity or nutty.
Fruit or nut, hickory nut. So
okay, I know that, but I'm just saying that most of the time those are going to be a little bit more sweeter smelling than they are smoky smelling.
Yeah. But I'm not saying, I'm not picking on the specific smoke when I say I think number one is smoke, because I've been to the quote unquote barbecue joints before that, man, they might as well have just cooked it in the oven.
Sure, they probably did.
Oh my God, what? It was horrible. It has no smoke flavor at all to this. What's going on here? And so, and then when you do that, when it has no smoke flavor, especially if you haven't paid attention to the rub and you haven't paid attention to and you've got too much sauce, right?
Yes.
Then you really don't get the smoke. And I want the smoke I want all of it. I want the smoke. I want the spices on the rub, and I want the sauce.
Absolutely.
I want it all.
I'm
That's
a,
the total experience.
and I'm okay with it all as long as this is just me. This is my preference that the smoke and the rub are the predominant flavors slash aromas. I don't mind having sauce on something, but I want a very, very light layer of that sauce to where it is not overtaking. I'm like I said, I'm a rub guy, and if you create your rub correctly, the rub can absolutely make the barbecue. Once again, my whole thing with the sauce is I don't mind sauce. I don't like a lot of the sauces, but if I find a sauce, I still don't want a lot of it. I want just enough to complement that rub and that smoke, not to take over. That's just me. I know there's a lot of people out there that are all about the sauce. They would just assume not have any rub. It's just pure sauce. And hey, so far, you can do what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, Scott out there is bringing up the sauce again. He says the sauce too burns and it gives a nasty taste. That's somebody that doesn't know how to barbecue and they put the sauce on way, way, way too early. A lot of times, or they're doing it on something that they'll be at their temperature at way, way too high. One of the two, and then at the end of the day, that's usually a really sugary sauce as well.
Very sweet.
There's different types of sauces. Now I will often my go-to, for barbecue sauce is Sweet Baby Ray's, without a doubt, hands down.
Sweet Baby Ray's is pretty good.
It's pretty good stuff, and it's sweet, right? Obviously, it's right there in the name. But I will usually intentionally burn mine just a little bit because it knocks the edge off the sweet. And then that in combination with again the spices and the smoke and everything else, it usually comes out. But we all know this: smoking, even grilling to an extent, barbecue in general, cooking out, it's an art. It's an art form. It really is.
So this is interesting because
just like art, just like painting a portrait, everybody's got their own style.
Yeah. Defense Dad says, I don't like heavy smoke though. I've had barbecue at people's house where after 8, I feel like I smoked a pack of cigarettes. So let's just take the 3 components, the basic components. You have the smoke, the rub, and the sauce. In your opinion, what is your pecking order of what you like to taste / smell? Like, so you're a smoke guy. I'm a rub guy. Yeah. Okay.
I want exactly
you want
what
that smoke to.
Dude,
so you want that smoke to be dominant.
Yeah,
see, I want the rub to be dominant.
Yeah, I literally.
My pecking order would go rub, smoke, sauce. Would yours? So yours goes smoke first. What's more important to you after that, the sauce or the rub?
That's a good question. Probably the rub, because the rub is where I'm going to get that little bit of spice and all that I would prefer. Yeah, I can do, and I say that it would definitely be smoke, rub, sauce, because I made this statement. As a matter of fact, the barbecue joint we went to, we'd never been to that one before, Roddy.
Yeah,
and we talked about it for a while, but we never went in there. So anyway, we went to town and went in there, and I did not care for their sauce.
Okay,
and so I just put a very, very little bit on there.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, was the sauce already on it, or do they have it for you?
No, it was on the side.
Okay,
it was on the side.
Of course, that's okay for me. That's fair,
Yeah. So, and I'm glad it was. I dipped my finger in it and I tasted it, and I'm like, man, it's really sweet. It was really thin. It was really light color. It was almost like a very heavy ketchup base that had been watered down or something. I like a darker sauce, sweetened with maybe something like a brown sugar or something like that. Anyway, so I was able to regulate how much of that I used on the sandwich, and it was fine. And I could have ate the sandwich without that, and I would have been happy.
Sure. When I did steaks tonight for Mother's Day and all of that, and I do my own rub. I have a little concoction of about 4 or 5, about five different ingredients that I kind of create my own rub with. And if done properly, once again, I'm one of those people, if seasoned properly, meat in general shouldn't need a sauce, especially like steaks and beef. I like the flavor of beef. And the rub that I use for my steaks and all of that are going to enhance the flavors of that meat. And once again, I'm not saying for barbecue, it's different. You know, people like barbecue sauce, but in general, like I'm one of those people that if you have to use sauce, or I should say, an extraordinary amount of sauce to cover up the meat of whatever kind it is, then that meat's either not good meat, or you prepared it, or whoever prepared it terribly wrong. But for me, like I said, it's about the rub. Then I would say smoke second, and sauce third. And I do appreciate these barbecue joints that don't automatically, because a lot of them do, they want to put their sauce that they've come up with on everything. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. Give me your sauce, but put it in a side container or a bottle on the table. Don't just assume that I'm going to want your sauce on my food. And I don't like that. That's why I don't do a lot of barbecue restaurants. I'll tell you what I do like is my wife has found a local restaurant that does a barbecue salad, and it's a salad with barbecue on there, but they give you barbecue sauce and ranch and all that, and putting barbecue sauce and ranch on that barbecue salad is pretty damn good.
When we went, my wife got the barbecue, the baked potato.
Sure.
And so that's another one. And that for the price, the next time we go back, I'll probably get the baked potato because it was actually priced right. But yeah, it's baked potato with all those trimmings, with a big heaping thing of some smoked meat of your choice, and the sauce. So
now on a baked potato sauce, absolutely got to use.
So
sauce. I'm an A1 guy on baked potatoes, though.
One of the things I like, and this joint did not offer it, but various other, there's not really any good barbecue joints around here anymore, probably because of price of meat. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's went up so much over the last several years. But you know, the old school ones, 10 years ago, whatever, that used to be really dominant around, they offered a variety of sauces, which I really liked that, because you could choose the right sauce for the right thing that you were eating.
And we're not talking about a variety of, hey, this one's mild, this one's hot, this one's whatever. It's
correct. Well, they had that too, but
they also have a variety of different brands, whether it's sweet or it's whatever.
Well, it was all their own homemade sauce. It was not like they had a bunch of different brands.
Yeah, but they had different styles of
different base,
sauce.
different mixtures, compositions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some
they had their
hot,
their mild,
some are ketchup based, some are pepper based, whatever. Yeah.
It's
like Kansas City. Like people talk about Kansas City barbecue and Memphis barbecue and all of that, and both those are based off of pork, but it's about the sauces are different, and all that. Like I said, I don't mind some sauce. I don't like sweet barbecue sauces.
Pork does better with a sweet. To me,
it's better. I'll give you that. It's better. Now Chase has a mustard base, a vinegar base, a white sauce, etc. Yeah, he mentioned doing a mustard base earlier. I don't know. If I did, I didn't know. I don't know that I've ever had a mustard based barbecue sauce, but I love mustard. That might be something could be interesting. If I have, I didn't know it was mustard based, but I don't know that I've had a mustard based barbecue sauce.
Definitely not a Texas. Yeah. I've tried it before. I don't care for it myself, but I'm not a big mustard guy either. So
yeah. That might be a Southeast thing, but I don't know of me ever having a mustard base. Vinegar base I have.
Yeah,
and a white sauce, absolutely. But I don't know that I've ever had a mustard base barbecue sauce. Now, a mustard type of sauce for different things, yes, but not a mustard based barbecue sauce. Scott says that's an Alabama thing. It might be, absolutely. And Lance is out there. Yes, you did hear someone talk about barbecue. We've been talking barbecue for a while. But thanks, Scott. It was great. What you got coming up?
Heck, I don't know, man. Got to get ready for NRAM, dude.
That's right. That's right.
So that's the biggest thing. I don't know. I've been saying for weeks now, weather permitting. Well, it's like, oh my God, it's a rain, but um, maybe hopefully get a video or two out before NRAM. We'll see how that goes. But um, got one dropped finally, I think yesterday.
Mm.
So got that going. But yeah, we'll head out really early Thursday morning. We'll head out and hit the Primary Arms Range Day. Looking forward to that. And then we've got
Mhm.
NRAM, of course, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and get get back home and hopefully we'll get whatever content comes out of all that, get it knocked out, and yeah, just continue to roll with everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be rolling in Thursday early evening. I'm not going to make it a primary arms day. I have not retired. I still work. So, no, I will be there Thursday evening. I think some of us are going to go grab a bite to eat that night, which will be great. I love the fact that, G Web started it at SHOT Show with us, since we've been going to SHOT Show, but we try to get, a group of buddies together and have a meal together kind of before show start. And I've always loved that kind of tradition, and we've carried it on, and now we're going to carry it on at NRAM and just bring a group of people that want to. And it's not anything formal. You don't have to show up, but the people in our group of friends that are going to be around that want to do that. It's nice to have that fellowship, if you will, and be around each other as friends, because we don't get to see each other maybe 2 or 3, 4 times a year, which is great. So looking forward to that. Obviously, NRAM is going to be fun. I hope to see some new and innovative things. I know that over the next few days, you might start hearing some press releases being mentioned about some new product lines. Like I said, we know there's going to be one at Friday at 11:30 at EAA's booth. So if you're going to be at NRAM and you're going to be at the expo and all that on Friday, and you're going to be there at 11:30, show up to EAA's booth and see what the big announcement's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you got anything else for us?
I caught you a delicious bass.
Vote for Pedro.